Hi, welcome back to my channel. It is your mental health therapist, Toya, and today I am here to share with you 7 myths and 7 facts about mental illnesses. Now, I know there's a strong stigma attached to receiving mental health services, and I think there's 2 main reasons that probably occur. One is because we used to grow up in a culture that says what happens in this house stays in this house and don't tell anybody. So that made us kind of suppress or keep a lot of issues in. I think a second reason why it's hard for people to share is the shame that comes with being able to, say to someone, I need help. I'm really struggling right now. I am really depressed, or I am battling anger or anxiety. So a lot of people don't even know what the symptoms are, or might want to deny that they're actually experiencing depression or experiencing anxiety. So I want to share with you some myths and some facts that might not only help you out, but maybe help a loved one out. One myth is that mental illness cannot happen to me, right? I'm strong, I'm healthy, I work out, I have a good social life. So you might think, if I deal with something, it's just part of life. It's not a mental illness. That can't happen to me. Well, that's definitely a myth. Fact is, 1 out of 5 adults experience a mental health condition in any given year. 1 out of 6 young people experience major depressive episode, and unfortunately, suicide is the leading cause of death in the USA. It's actually the second leading cause of death from age 10 to 24. Myth number 2 is that people with mental health illnesses tend to be violent. The fact is, a person with a mental health illness is no more likely to be violent than a person without a mental health illness. The fact is, about 3 to 5% of violent acts can be contributed to people who actually are diagnosed with a mental health illness. Myth number 3. People think that mental health issues are a sign of weakness, and that if you experience a mental health issue, you should be able to just snap out of it. Not true. The fact is, many factors can contribute to someone experiencing a mental health illness. Things such as biological factors like genes, physical illness or injury, or even brain chemistry can contribute to mental health illness, as well as experiencing trauma or having a history of abuse. The next myth is that there's no hope for recovery if you have a mental health illness. Studies show that people with mental health illnesses can actually get better, live productive lives, and recover quite well from a mental health illness if they receive the appropriate services. Another myth that I often hear: therapy is a waste of time and it doesn't help. Well, the fact is that treatment for mental health illness varies. It can consist of therapy, it can consist of medication, or it might even consist of the combination of the two. But studies actually show that people who experience mental health illnesses and receive therapy, they report that it's helpful. That's about 75% of cases that's been studied. The 6th myth is that people feel like if I have a loved one or if I know someone that has a mental illness, I won't be able to help them. I'm not trained in it. The fact is, friends and loved ones can make a big difference with helping people who have a mental illness. You can do things like influence them to receive mental health treatment, share healthy, productive coping skills or coping mechanisms that they could do, encourage them to practice good self-care, and then avoid using labels such as calling them crazy. The final myth that I want to share with you, myth number 7, is that people believe that the chances of them working with someone with a mental illness or ever interacting with someone with a mental illness is slim to none. The fact is, general anxiety disorder, OCD or obsessive compulsive disorder, as well as panic attacks or panic disorders, are all common mental health illnesses that many people deal with. With just those 3 disorders alone that I named, there's about 42.5 million adults diagnosed with those disorders. There's about 21 million adults actually living with depression. There's 12 million adults who have PTSD, and 3.3 million have bipolar disorder, with 1.5 million having a diagnosis of schizophrenia. There's about a 50% chance that one will develop a mental health illness by the time that they're 14 years old, and that increases to 75% by the time they're at the age of 24. Some risk factors, again, that can trigger some mental health illnesses could be things like drug use, stressful life events or situations, past or current abuse or neglect, chronic illnesses, relationship conflict, genetic disposition, low socioeconomic status, trauma, social isolation, life, many different things that can happen to us, and things that we have to deal with. So if you or someone else you know ever find yourself in a situation where you need immediate help, maybe you're in imminent danger, hurting yourself or hurting someone else, of course you can always dial 911 or visit your nearest emergency room. You can also give the number 988 to anyone or use it yourself. That is the mental health emergency number. And then of course you can always contact your local mental health professional in order to get the help, get the services that you need, maybe set up sessions. And if nothing else, they can help guide you to the services that you need. So stay blessed. Know that there's always help out there, and know that we have to fight together in order to combat the stigma that's attached to mental health services. Strong people need support too.